Who do we have here? I've never seen a me like you before. Doesn't matter. How'd you end up here, little buddy? Okay. What? Want me to sing or something? Well, why didn't you say so? Let's just hope you don't regret it by the time we're done. Nothing. Bravo. Oddly impressive for an NPC. You are an NPC, right? Oh, I get it now. Well, isn't this gonna be fun? Been a while since I toyed with a real person. Huh? Put me down! Put me down! Who do you think you are? That hurt. How rude. Don't you know how much it hurts to delete a me? Imagine a constant, withering feeling, stuck in agonizing pain until you drop dead. Diagraphephobia, the fear of being deleted in a console. Doesn't it just sound exciting? Well, not as exciting as seeing your head split in half. Let's dance.
Well, what do we have here? It seems like another unfortunate soul has been dragged to the depths of hell. So, stranger, what is it like, being deleted? What's wrong? You seem scared of me. Does my appearance frighten you? Oh, quit your bitching. I'm not gonna kill you. Trust me, these claws could tear your flesh and skull into tatters of remaining skin and bone. I should really introduce myself, should I not? My name is Austin. I'm what you call the poltergeist of this hell you call a mere children's toy. I've been here for longer than I can count on my fingers, if you can even call them that anymore. I'm assuming you're new here. Never seen a me with blue hair before. Oh, interesting. I don't remember programming that in. You're not like the others. You're different, I can tell. Huh, you're human, aren't you? I can see. You have a red all over your face. Well, I guess this is a lovely introduction for the rest of your eternal life suffering in this damn wee. Open your mouth, you deaf bastard! There we go. Now that we're getting to know each other, I assume you've already met the other me in this console. Weren't you exhausted of being harassed and tortured by him? Trust me, I've been dealing with it for years, so I know how you feel. For the longest time, I've been trying to get back at that son of a bitch for what he did to me. Just for you, I'll throw in my 2 cents. I've been trying to execute my plan, but nobody's kept this console for more than a couple weeks, and it's really screwing with my plan. Actually, I can see the console is still on. You've been here for not that long. Quick, let's We can overload the CPU and bust out of here. We'll be free. Free from the monster also trapped in here with us. And finally, after all this time, I get to watch Henry burn in hell. And nobody is getting in my way. You see that room over there to your right? You ain't getting in there, whether you like it or not. Nobody is taking this opportunity away from me. Now stand! Quickly! Get in the damn chair!
Okay, damn.
Hey,
What?
thanks for your cooperation. Unfortunately, this is gonna hurt like hell.
Shit. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Oh, hell nah! And nope. Never again. Old ass console. Broke ass console got 2 goddamn bald Q-tips in the bitch. You know, the hose will fix anything. Hold up.
No. 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 That son of a bitch! I almost had it and that blue bastard had to mess everything up!
How sad. How entertaining. You gonna cry now?
How long have you been standing here for?
Ever since I started hearing you cry. Wah. You sound like a child. I thought you were more mature than you claim you are. You are a coward.
I'm not a coward, Henry. Look at yourself and tell me what you believe a coward is.
I believe what I see is true, and a scared little man is what I see in you.
If you're gonna call me a coward, then throw away that axe you hold so dear to you.
Trust me, just accept that we're here and we can't leave. This is paradise.
This is not paradise. This is hell. You think you could get away with everything just because it's in the past, and I think that's why you hate being deleted so much, because it's the only time you worry about the consequences to your sickening actions. You know deep down, in that thing you call a soul, you know that you deserve to burn.
I may deserve to burn, but you know deep in your mind that you deserve the same punishment as me. Deep down, you are just as bad as me. Think about all the people you forced to go along with your plans, or how many people you manipulated just to get even a chance at killing me once and for all.
Is it any better than having people die to your axe?
Maybe not, but it's more peaceful having your head freed off your shoulders rather than suffering through jolts of sharp electric pain.
This childish bickering is getting us nowhere. We need to settle this here and now.
Sounds fun.
This ends now.